a short walk away. "Such lovely girls," he beamed. "I'm sure you have left some broken hearts behind. Come for dinner next week. We will cheer you up. My wife is keen to meet you, and my mother-in-law will soon discover the secrets of your hearts." With gratitude, but little enthusiasm, we accepted his invitation. Without any real enjoyment, we met his cold wife and dutifully admired his young son. Elinor and Marianne endured his mother-in-law's teasing. "Now then, Margaret," laughed Mrs. Jennings, "your sisters deny having any favourite young men, but perhaps you can tell me the names of their beaux." Surprised to be spoken to, I looked at Elinor. "May I tell them?" Everybody laughed. Elinor blushed. "Margaret, you are just guessing," said Marianne. "No, I'm not. You told me." I was enjoying the attention. "His initials are E.F." Everybody laughed again, except for Sir John's friend, Colonel Brandon, who had hardly spoken all afternoon. "What do you think of the weather in Devon, Miss Dashwood?" he asked Elinor. A moment later, everyone's attention moved still further from me when Colonel Brandon invited Marianne to play the piano. He could not take his eyes off her as she entertained us all. I saw Mrs. Jennings looking meaningfully from Marianne to Colonel Brandon and back again. The following morning dawned clear and beautiful. Marianne and I decided to explore the hills surrounding the cottage. Soon, however, the weather started to change. "Oh, Marianne," I said excitedly, "feel the wild wind in your hair." She laughed. "See the angry grey clouds gathering. Enjoy the cool rain on your face." "It's wonderful, Marianne, but I'm getting cold. Shall we run home?" We ran down the steep hill with all possible speed. I saw Marianne slip, but I couldn't stop. When I eventually turned round, I saw a man bending to lift Marianne off the ground. He carried her straight down the hill and into our cottage without even knocking on the door. As he lowered Marianne into a chair, she was too embarrassed to meet his eye. Elinor and Mamma thanked him. I stared at him. He was uncommonly handsome, with a masculine gracefulness. He introduced himself as John Willoughby, the heir to the nearby Allenham estate. "Please allow me the honour of visiting tomorrow to inquire after your daughter," he asked Mamma. Mamma agreed enthusiastically. I could see the glint in Marianne's eye as her departing hero closed the door behind him. As promised, Willoughby visited the next morning. He and Marianne were soon talking like old friends. Marianne discovered that Willoughby shared her passionate taste in music, books, and art. Their eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as they read and sang together, sharing their passion for life. When Willoughby expressed his love of dancing, Marianne's face glowed. "He is just as a man should be," she told us when he had left. "He is eager, with no moderation, not at all like Edward or Colonel Brandon." Willoughby's visits became a daily event, and Marianne happily introduced him into our small circle of acquaintances at Barton. One day, Elinor and I heard him teasing Marianne about the Colonel. "I do believe he rather likes you," he said provocatively. "But he's 35, exclaimed Marianne in horror. "He's too old to be in love." Willoughby laughed. "Did you hear him talking about rheumatism and flannel waistcoats? He is such a dull old bachelor." Elinor looked disapproving and left the room. That evening I heard Elinor talking to Marianne. "You are too open and forward in your affections. We know so very little of Willoughby. You must be more cautious." Marianne disagreed. "I have been open and sincere. Would you prefer me to be reserved, spiritless, and dull?" If she felt hurt by this comment, Elinor hid it well. "Your laughter at Colonel Brandon's expense leads me to question both Willoughby's character and your own judgment. Colonel Brandon is a sensitive, intelligent man who deserves our respect." Marianne agreed to try to be kinder to the Colonel.